No, Nintendo are going to sue us now.
Bro, I wasn't sure whether or not to start the pod right
No, fuck no.
Am I keeping that in or no?
Do whatever you want, bro.
I'm just gonna can't give a fuck. I wouldn't give that shit in, bro. That was hilarious.
God damn.
That was so well timed, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Joba.
Yo.
Okay, good. Just make sure you're alive.
Don't start. Don't start. No, God.
Oh, also, by the way, there is a gem sale for the Stampede event too, so that's cool.
Hog.
Pog season, baby. Let's
Bro,
go.
I've got so many bills to pay after
Yeah.
after this week. Holy fuck.
Monk S.
Really is.
Minkus.
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 Minx.
Gonna up Dill's sound a little bit.
Yeah, for whatever reason, my Discord's being a bit fucky.
Oh, you got a 200, baby. We got max.
Oh yeah, you're at 176 minutes. I can barely hear you.
And my game's all the way up and everything. My volume's
You
up on my Discord, and I don't know
I'm
what's
gonna-
going on.
I'm gonna go down to 185, 186 even.
All right,
God damn, that's very high.
you watch. You'll get it fixed in the middle of the freaking podcast and blow our eardrums out.
Treasure map sucked. Whoa, hey, all right.
THQ.
Oh, fucking hell.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
how's things?
yeah, we're good, bro. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, you're not gonna quit.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, I read on Reddit the other day that you're thinking of quitting.
Oh well.
So I'm kind of concerned, mate.
Well, you know, Reddit is the #1 source for all your news and information.
Yeah, and Todd's thinking about
True.
quitting, and Me Machine did quit.
Yeah, Mean Machine quit.
Night
uh,
quit the
Night
night,
quit,
night just
apparently.
quit the episode just
Well,
then.
At least
Man,
at least OPTC Fnatic is still going strong.
Mean Machine didn't quit though. He's taking a break.
Ain't nobody.
Let him live, bro. For God's sake. But if Reddit's the #1 resource, then I guess GGP is the #2. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Good, Great, Perfect. Episode 22.
Ooh.
Wowzers.
That is
Mate.
one more than 21.
Oh, shit. That's maths, baby. Let them know for the one time. We're back once again. If you haven't checked out the previous episode where we had the guest star Flamevius, make sure you do that. It will be the card, I believe, in the top right there, so you can check it out there. But like I always say at the very start of every episode, we are here back again. I got my mans Cobb, Dill, Joba, Knight, and Todd. The whole crew's here once again to talk about One Piece Treasure Cruise. And for the most part, there really isn't that much to talk about. We got a little bit of news as we just started recording today that we're going to jump into maybe a little bit, have a discussion on it. But we're going to be talking about a lot of things in terms of just the broader sense of the game, because for some unbeknownst reason, there's been a big scare in the community that people think that the game is people are quitting, YouTubers are stopping, blah, blah, blah. So I guess that'll come up naturally in conversation, but we're going to look into a lot of things in terms of Sugo Fest. We want to talk about how can this whole episode is just going to be about improvements, pretty much for the most part. It's about Sugo Fest. We're going to talk about Treasure Map after Global's horrendous effort at releasing this current Treasure Map. It's just been terrible. And then encompassing everything, we're going to talk about the logical steps of the game moving forward. But before all of that, if you want to find out any of our social medias, you can find our link in the description below. That'll take you to Linktree. In that link there, it'll have all of our social medias and all the platforms where you can listen to the podcast. You can watch it on YouTube and all those good things. Speaking on that though, we really appreciate all the subscribers, all the viewers, all the likes, all the comments, all the tweets, all the follows on all of our platforms, being Twitter, Instagram, Anchor, and YouTube. So we do appreciate that. Without further ado, though, gentlemen, let's hop right into this thing. So, Sugo Fest. Sugo Fest is generally, as we all know, is pretty much the main crux of the game, the main source of generating income for the game itself. But on top of that, though, what do you guys think? So I think what I wanted to talk about initially was when you see a Sugo Fest or when you see the news towards the Sugo Fest, what is your approach? So when you when the news drops for Sugo Fest, what's the first thing you look at? How do you know if you're going to pull or not? What is your generally the idea
Like-
you take in terms of like going into a Sugar Fest?
At first, I look at my bank account.
I mean, I'm with you over there. I agree. Like,
Oh,
yeah, I
no.
don't look at the bank account.
That's so bad, dude. That's such a
Yeah.
bad thing.
But,
But
no,
It really.
but
I
other
mean-
than that, I check the units out on the OPTC GitHub.
check them out on the database, see if they're
Well,
worth
first
it or
thing,
not.
when you read like the post, you got to see what magnifier of legend rate it is.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And then the steps are arguably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the structure like? As I think, like the second most important thing would be like the rate boosted
Yeah, I
characters.
was gonna say.
Yeah, that's also very important to determine, where you're going to be spending that dosh.
So I guess like we can look at it in the sense of global. Just as of today, as we're recording this, the Stampede Return Sugar just got announced. This being the Sugar Fest that had the guaranteed bullet on the 7th multi and the guaranteed Stampede Luffy on the 7th multi on their individual parts. We kind of, as global players, we base this off Japan Sugo. So initially it was better than JP Sugo because on JP it was both those units were guaranteed on the 9th multi on their respective parts. But global and JP Sugo did have a 1.5 times legend rate. So like the guys mentioned, you look at the legend rate, you look at the guaranteed parts. So this part being the gleaming, like, getting the guaranteed unit itself. But global took it a step further. It has the 1.5 times legend rate. On top of that, now they're guaranteed on the 7th part, and which we just got news today. Each multi is 30 gems.
That is honestly one of the biggest baits, but also at the same time, it's not that much of a bait because the banner is actually incredible. Like the other thing that we need to know now is what the rates are for the characters.
Yeah.
So
So like,
that'd be interesting.
It kind of like draws into the idea of like, at first you think it's a bad Sugo just by just general purpose, not necessarily a bad Sugo Fest, but like it was good only if you're missing Bullet, would be my opinion. If you're missing
Yeah.
Stampede Luffy, this could just would instantly be a skip. It wouldn't necessarily be too worth it. But now that they're both guaranteed on the 7th and they're both like basically 210 gems total, it's kind of, that's a steal for both those units. Fantastic, right?
Absolute bargain. And when you compare it, it was 450 gems or something, or 420 gems. I don't know if they had a discount on their first step. They probably did on Japan for them, and it's less than half the amount on global, which is crazy.
You're getting two fantastic legends. So the issues like that kind of toss a spanner into the works when it comes to determining a Sugo Fest. So I guess that kind of leads us to our next little thing. But when do you guys determine or figure out or know, is it when it's worth actually pulling on a Sugo Fest?
I don't know if we're that's
mhm.
specimens because a lot of us are very impulsive pullers, or at least I am.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, we all
I'll
pull
agree
when we
with that.
want. You know what I mean? We can all pull when we want. But I'm saying let's just say let's take it a step back then and kind of look at it from the general
you gotta
player's
think from
perspective.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. You got to think of it as
What do you
as a
guys?
player, as
How
a
do you look?
generic player.
Let's say this Sugar Fest right now. What would be your idea? How would you look at this now?
Well,
Yeah,
currently
people
as
are the
it
ones
stands
that's
right now,
going.
you should be pulling. If you don't
Yeah.
have bullet, you should be going for bullet, hands down.
Yeah.
So
I
go.
am going to disagree with that. If you've got legends like Luffy Law and stuff, don't bother.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, I've got Bullet and I use him as a last resort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. The normal attack only really fucks them, and it's everywhere.
I disagree with that entirely.
No, that
I
doesn't. It's not
I
that-
also
it's not that-
disagree.
yeah, I disagree
Yeah.
with that as well. I think there are more fun units to use.
Of course, yeah, naturally.
So and yeah, I don't enjoy it personally. I don't enjoy using Bullet, and from what I've seen, I don't see as many Bullet teams as you might think there would be.
Well, what about from the eyes of just a general let's say a mid-level player?
Yeah, so if you're a mid-level player and Bullet, and if you want to pull Bullet would be the best legend you have, yeah, definitely go for it. 100% recommend. But yeah, if I said, if you have the likes of Sabo Koala, Luffy Law, Luffy Zoro, just the newest legends that are out that are definitely top tier, I'd reassess whether you want to pull on that banner or not.
I mean, that
Because-
also depends on what units are boosted because it's a 1.5 times legend rate, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so if you're missing a lot of units on the way to bullet, I would 100%
Sober
do it
mask,
regardless.
sober mask in
Yeah.
V2 Nami
Yeah.
are boosted on
V2
bullet
Nami.
better.
Yeah, so like
what
that's
we're
a
just trying
drop.
to say is like it all just depends on your account.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It'll change from person to person, on whether you should be pulling on a banner or not. Plus, remember, French anniversary is coming at the end of this month, which should be Shanks crew at this point. And honestly, I could see them doing it. I can see them literally having the Shanks banner and then having bullet rate boosted on Shanks's part.
It would like the thing
Wouldn't
is
be
it
surprised.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes a ton of sense. So I feel like just like the pure fact that they're making this Sugo, like I guess this kind of is like going into a lot more cerebral, but it's like maybe they've realized they fucked up on TM. So maybe it's like that. I don't think that that's necessarily the case because that's thinking on like a completely different level, like aside from just Sugo Fest alone. But let's arbitrarily take 6 Annie. So I'll go with Knight. What was your mentality going into 6 Annie? Like for JP?
Well, I did 22 multis on 5th Annie, so doing 20 on 6th Annie wasn't a big deal for me. Like I already knew I would go that deep anyways, so I was like, plus they're guaranteed. Like if it was on 30, I would think about it because I think 20 is worth it, like 1,000 gems. I mean, it's not like easy gems, but I would highly consider that over 30 multis. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking that, and then also the rate ups for me were decent because they had like a majority of the legends that I was missing, so that's like was my mentality.
So I guess like you kind of like how about for like us now? I guess like because I think we've all kind of looked at it as like the next milestone or the next like point where you should be pulling can either be broken down into like French Annie or can be broken into when the 6 Annie units are dropped, right? So just for like the 5 of us, like the global plays right now, like just one word answer, like what's the next milestone? Shanks crew or 6 Annie?
For me, it's 680.
Cobb?
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. Stop. You said 6 Annie. Do you mean Snake Man or do you mean like
sorry,
February
6 Annie
next
units?
year?
My bad. Sorry, 6 Annie units. Apologies.
Yeah, I was a bit confused.
Yeah, my bad.
I would probably say the 6 Annie units as well.
What do you think, Dill?
That's really tough though.
So what is like to go ham on?
Yeah, which would you think is the next like? Because you know how like our previous milestone was like Luffy Zoro, Sober Mask. Now the next milestone, do you think it's Shanks crew or do you think it's the 6 Annie legends that came out on JP?
I do really want Shanks crew, so I'm gonna probably say Shanks crew.
What do you think, Todd?
I think it's interesting. It totally depends on the way they structure Shanks crew.
That's also true.
Like,
if it's 30 guaranteed, I don't know.
No, if it's 30 guaranteed, I'm not doing 30 multis for Shanks crew, even though I would love to do it. But if it was 20, I would definitely consider it.
Fortunately, that is a question. So we will talk about our French Annie, like our thoughts on how many we're going to pull later on in the episode towards the end. But I guess like at that point, then you kind of look at a Sugo Fest. Like I guess for the player that's either free to play or a semi free to play, the milestone Sugo Fest are necessarily like I just made up the term milestone Sugo Fest. Like that's not a thing, but it kind of like throughout the whole like duration of Treasure Cruise, there's always been like obviously because as a global player you have the basis of JP. You know, okay, we all know Snake Man's crazy and Kid's amazing, and you know Sugar's good, and you know Sabo's alright. But we know what legends are coming up. We know what's good, so you can kind of like plan ahead a lot of the time too.
Yeah.
So I guess like that's why I kind of coined the term of like it's like the next milestone you look towards.
Yeah,
so I guess, like,
it's interesting though because like JP plays don't really have that.
Yeah,
they take it as they come basically.
Like who would have thought that Sugar would actually be so fucking amazing as a unit? And I feel like the reason why this is completely like tangential, but I feel like the reason why Sugar was decided was they wanted to put in the new mechanic. That's probably it.
I actually think Sugar might be like T0.
Yeah, sadly enough, I'd agree too.
Really? Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
Oh, and Brooke as well, and Pudding.
Shut up.
Okay, relax. Keep moving. I guess like So I guess like look at it from a free to play perspective. You got, let's say you have currently right now you have 500 gems. Free to play, saved up. What are you doing with them? Where are you pulling? Where are you investing? Are you pulling at all? Are you waiting? What's the go? What's the happening?
Probably Snake Man.
You think Snake Man's just like the surefire? Like
I just
for
think
me,
I think
for me
it just
personally, it is.
hypothetically speaking, like if you don't have a lot of top tiers, I think Snake Man's good because just the character by himself is a 2.5 orb boost and a 2 times attack booster in one unit. I think that's going to help out so many players rather than Shanks Crew being a Rainbow 4.5 that gives you a 3.5 chain lock.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion on that.
I think it's hard.
But I
Like
think
it's
that
hard
Shanks Crew will be definitely abused by a lot of the top tier players.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to that structure. So I feel like for the most part, a Sugo Fest is like won or lost, like in like those terms. All depending on how well it's structured. Like this Sugo Fest with the guaranteed Stampede like legends, it was an L for me personally because like it was you'd have to invest like 330 gems to get Stampede Luffy. Not to say he isn't worth 330 gems, but it's not like it's not an even value in terms of that. But now you look at it how they've essentially readjusted the whole structure, making each multi worth 30 gems. You're getting it now a legend like that for 210 gems, or both of them for 420 gems. It's a completely different story now. So I guess like that's how like I think like for the general consensus of players that don't know when to pull or like what to pull on. Obviously, there's a plethora of communities. Like there's a bunch of discords. People are always going to be happy to to guide you. Bunch of content creators that will always have their thoughts and opinions. Flame, Todd, always out there to talk about that kind of stuff. But I guess just like if you want to like figure things out yourself, you have to look at the Sugo Fest in terms of what's being offered, what's rate boosted, what's even like on the back end, what's your position? Like I know like Dylan Joba like joked about looking at their bank account first, but in grand scheme of things, like it's very important. If you can't afford it, there's literally no point whatsoever in
And the thing
investing
is,
money.
like, especially when like you don't like, because you don't know if you've got like payments that automatically have to come out, so you got to make sure you can spend the money without getting like screwing yourself with like bills and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like me personally, I put a lot of money into my savings, so I don't want to have no money in my account for my bills because
Yeah,
I prefer to have money in my savings than money on my fucking OPTC account.
exactly right. Like it's a matter of like looking at it in terms of a situation of like how much are you willing to spend, and like I guess like generally one of the better things about Treasure Cruise and like currently moving forward is that the game has become a lot more free to play friendly, like a lot more in comparison to what it was prior. Like obviously with the renewal of GARP challenges, I mean even this month alone, there's about 110 gems up for grabs, more or less for global players right now. So like that pays for about half the Sugo Fest itself. If you're able to do all the GARP challenges, do the bullet damage ranking as well, means you're getting around 110 gems total, plus login gems and probably some Chopper Man missions alongside it too. So overall, like as a free to play player, not only are you getting a lot more gems per month, which is like about time, but simultaneously, a lot of the units that are required, and I echo the sentiments of Todd a lot, is that a lot of the units required to clear content are generally free to play units. You're not always restricted to having to have legends. I mean, legends may be a different story, but you're not always restricted to having to have rare recruits to clear
like
certain bits of content.
Most of the time when you are clearing content, the rare recruits are like the most replaceable on the team.
Yeah.
Like the legends and the free to play units typically are the hardest ones to replace.
So you can kind of look at it like in that sense. Like obviously, like we like let's talk about like the previous banner on global being Nami, Robin, Pudding. Both of them by themselves are pretty decent legends. Like they're not like they're not like I guess from Todd's tier list. Like they're not tier 0, they're not S tier. Like they're not like top tier legends themselves. So you can look at that and be like, okay, I don't see them being used in content. You can kind of associate that with then not having to pull for them, or you don't have to invest in them. But then if you look at things like Shanks Crew coming up, they're literally used. Like I mean, not literally, but like they're generally used everywhere. You can
it's going to be a long time before Shanks Crew like considered bad.
I mean, look at like Luffy Law, same almost
they're
the
still
same deal, you
insane.
know? You
Yeah.
can clear pretty much everything with that unit, more or less. So, like,
Yeah.
you have to kind of do your research and make sure you're well acquainted in terms of understanding what units actually going to be useful. Even things like what rare recruits, like going to like Luffy, Zoro, and Sobermask patch. Yes, those legends are amazing, but Usohachi is like one of the best, if not the best, rare recruit in the game. So you have to consider that too. Like some rare recruits will come out that are literally amazing. Like Alvida in the current batch was quite good. Tashigi's okay. So you're not going to be hurting too much if you miss out on those rare recruits. But things like Usohachi, missing out on Usohachi was like is actually a pain because it's a
It was
very
just annoying that
fantastic
the whole Blitz battle was basically centered around
centered around
Usohachi.
that unit. So
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like
Oh.
I guess that's also a good part too. You have to look at it in terms of the content that's coming up as well. So for global side, I know that we're going to have a Kizuna coming up at some point. We're going to have another Blitz battle coming up at some point. So I guess if you're really into the game, like you can kind of start to look at teams. If teams are using, you know, let's say if they're using older legends and that you have, fantastic. If they're using a lot more newer legends and newer rare recruits or things like that, then you have to start considering, am I going to intend to rank? Am I going to intend to pull because I want these legends? There's a lot of factors, unfortunately, that go into. It's not like you can just go to a Sugo Fest and be like, I'm not going to pull, I'm going to pull. The sad reality of that is you have to kind of look at it in the sense of, I guess, like the grand scope is like, look in the sense of what does your account have? What is it missing? Is it missing a top tier like captain? Is it missing subs? Is it missing supports? And then kind of build your account from that. I think that wraps it up for Sugo Fest. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. Treasure map. TM. Treasure map. Treasure map had just dropped on global, and I believe there was a treasure map on JP either recently or currently
it's right
It's
now.
on right
currently
now.
ongoing. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I think JP is generally just like following more or less the same formula for the most part, so that's fine. But let's talk global because Knight is actually playing this global TM. Surprisingly enough, he's beating out all you plebs.
I sent a message to Todd the other day when I saw his video. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Knight has a global account?
Not only does he have a global account, but he's ranking higher than like majority of people. So that's
He's
why
ranking higher than me.
Yeah, you're sleep right now. My man's going in. But I guess that does benefit us because we're going to talk about this treasure map because this has been the talk of the town for the last week, and it's been ringing in everyone's ears and all over Twitter and all over Reddit. So I think it's about time we have a discussion on treasure map itself. So this treasure map being Rebecca and Viola 5-day TM. They nerfed a
That's
bunch
the
of
first
things.
problem.
Yeah, let's just start with that then.
5-day TM.
5-day TM. Just what I know everyone's opinion, but like just to get some discussion going, what are your opinions on a 5-day TM? What's the perfect length for TM? Like, should it be 4? Should it be 3? Should it be 2? Should it be whatever it is? What do you guys think about the length of TM and 5 days specifically itself?
My God, like no one asked for this. No one actively says, "Yo, you know it'd be good 5 days."
Hey,
of
I want
map.
5 days of treasure map, dog.
Nobody says that ever. So I don't get why they do it. I mean, look, Hawkins' treasure map was 5 days, I believe, as well on global. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get why they're doing it, and it needs to stop because it's ridiculous. Honestly,
I think every time we've received a 5-day TM, there's been nothing but complaints.
Yeah,
I think so.
Like, there's never like when we get a 4-day TM, it's expected. A 3-day TM, everyone's like, "Oh, all right." Like, everyone's excited, or people are kind of, I guess you could say, some people are kind of annoyed because less days to farm mats, or less day.
That's the
farm
problem,
mats.
that they needed balance, and that's the
But
hard
4
thing.
days is the perfect balance. I feel like 4 days is just enough. Maybe 3 days is even just enough.
Yeah, I
3
do
days,
think.
yeah.
I think 4 is actually pretty good. In most treasure maps that I found on global, I only need to farm like 2.5 days worth of
Yeah.
treasure map, and that'll pretty much solidify a good spot for me.
yeah. And when I want to go for like top ranks, I don't want to fucking be farming 5 days.
Yeah.
I think it's like obviously the general consensus is 5 days like sucks. Like I don't think many events, like many like ranking events that have gone for more than like 3 days are ever good. Like I guess TM excluded. Like when a blitz goes for like 7 days, or like
Well, I mean, like
that kind of stuff.
the Kaido Blitz was a little bit of
It was great, I
of
reckon.
a
I think it
different
was
one
well
because the
done.
rewards were like so good.
I think even aside from the rewards, though,
I
just
was
the
annoyed
fact that
that came
it
back,
was
though.
2 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on is a really good structure overall.
Yeah,
Because
have a
you get
break
that,
a bit.
yeah, you get that 2 day break. Obviously, like it elongates the whole like process, the whole event itself. But at least technically, it's only 4 days of ranking. I mean, it's still 4 days, but I think for the most part, 4 days is kind of like the maximum point that people want to play because everyone's so adjusted and acclimated to playing 4
What I-
days of treasure map.
What I would like treasure map to be like that though, like 2 days on, 2 days off, and all that stuff, and just because it it gives people a chance to rest and stuff if they want,
Yeah.
if they do want to go for a rank they've never been for before. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. So I guess that's everyone. Anyone else got anything to say about the length, or are we all still on the same page, bro? 'Cause I'm just gonna keep circling through all the things that they messed up with this TM eventually until we get to the into a discussion.
What's
But,
wrong with TM? How much time you got?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, 5 days sucks, right? The next thing that they did that everyone was not a fan of was they removed hard mode. So hard mode, for people that weren't aware, is literally just as
Oh, I
as
forgot
the
about
mode
that.
intends. It's a harder version, but you get more points. So it was a lot faster to get to that 7 mil point, which is, I guess, for the majority of players is preferable. Because I know for the most part, players get to that 7 mil and then generally stop playing or
Yeah.
play very little. So it was a lot quicker. And they did not add that at all. What do you guys think about
Yeah,
that?
that is.
Not
I
gonna
don't
lie, I
understand
completely
it.
forgot about that.
Is it just because they think that global players can't do it? Like,
But
I don't get it.
so, Knight, what did hard mode? Did hard mode make bosses have more HP, more attack? What did it do other than more points?
Yeah, it was like more HP and more attack. So like
Like how much
the
It
more?
was. It was a
I
pretty
don't
big
really
deal.
remember. Yeah, I
So,
think it was pretty huge.
I think the first bot, or like Carrot, she starts off the intrusion battle with 2.2 million or something. And not only that, like
Obviously,
normally every time you go to a different nav level, the boss gains 10% of their level 1 HP every single time. This time around, it was still the same, but because they start off with huge amounts of HP,
Yeah.
they actually get more HP with each nav level. So it does get considerably difficult.
but I guess like does come to the point you were bringing up. Do they think that did they not add a hard mode because they think global players can't consistently complete it?
I have no idea. I mean, there's definitely a large majority of players that can. There's no
I
doubt.
feel like the general, like I feel like the majority of players in New World can do it.
Or they just outright forgot.
I don't want to give them credit because that's giving them credit.
It's too easy now.
That's too easy of a jump, like a jump out. Like saying they forgot.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, guys. We completely forgot about this.
that's like saying they forgot about 2 times Kizuna.
Here's one gem compensation.
But if I wake up at the end of TM to a to a gem compensation in my mail that says, "Oops, we forgot hard mode," I'll be punching the air, bro. I'm so upset. Like, what the hell? You can't forget that shit. But I think maybe it's to the point where but is hard mode available for all levels or is it only available for New World?
I don't remember.
It's only for New World.
There's no there can't be an excuse in that they can't expect people to clear it then, because surely that means that if it's on New World, surely
Yeah.
that's if you're in New World, you should be good enough, quote unquote, to be able to clear that kind of stuff. And if you can't, then grand lines for you.
And hard mode only affected the intrusion battle and the final boss. Like the battle rush bosses were not changed.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well,
it's
that
actually
changes
like, it's
everything.
not even that bad.
Because with the boost of if you pull one of the boosters, you're set more or less most of the time, regardless. Like the damage that boost is going to output plus the team itself, is going to be fine. You're going to be doing enough damage with that team to, even with the increased scaling of hard mode, that team's still going to clear enough navs to get you a decent chunk of the way. And if not, you can just build a better team. Obviously, that hinders your point increase, but the points in hard mode are greater anyway. So like maybe it evens out. I don't know, but I don't think that those. I wouldn't believe those two excuses of either they forgot or that they think global players can't hang with the JP players. Like, for the most part, I don't like the fact that they just didn't add that. I think it was something that everyone was looking forward to as well. I think for the most part, at least, like it's extra points. It's a little harder. Means team building's, I guess, a little bit more important, and it just makes the whole experience a little faster for people too.
Yeah, it gets people to 7 mil points a lot faster, as you said. But another thing as well is the fact that a lot of people noticed in Global's treasure map this time around that the bosses give less EXP.
Yep, that was
And
my next.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the fact that I think hard mode would give more EXP. That's what I think.
So do you think they were intended to add it, but maybe didn't have time or didn't implement
That's why I said I think they maybe forgot it because we have less EXP on normal mode. So I don't know. It's weird, man. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna have
100 Apollo gems.
That's fucking dodgy, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get our tinfoil hats on real quick. everyone put them on real quick. I don't believe that for a goddamn second. I think what happened was they went to implement it because God forbid they can't just...
And a bug happened.
And yeah.
And they couldn't clear it, so they're like, oh, actually...
The QA test's like, bro, my team can't do it, man.
He's running his Shiroshi Mihawk team.
He's like, I have all the units. I just don't know how to build the teams, dude. Well, then, like, honestly, like, this even, like, aside from TM, does Global get the same TM thing that JP does, like the website?
No.
So how the hell do they expect global players to be able to know what to do and know what teams to build and know how to clear TM if we didn't have content creators or the TM planner?
Exactly right. I don't know.
Like, that's always been my question. Because I've always thought, like, oh, maybe Global has a version of it. I just have never seen it. But we don't get that. So how did Global, like, obviously all of us, we watch JP content. We have, I mean, for the majority of people, Reddit has a lot of fantastic, like, great posts. Broken Famous has a lot of good work there in those kind of stuff. Same as Mr. Mats, and a bunch of like content creators make a lot of videos on TM as well. So Global players are very well aware of what to expect and how to approach it. But like, what for those people that are like getting into the game that might not know like about content creators or about the TM planner, how the hell do they approach TM itself?
Yeah, it's super odd. Like, honestly, one thing that I'm actually surprised they haven't added into the game, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, is just, before you go into a boss, there should be a tips menu that tells you what the boss does.
That'd just be like...
you can bring units to counter it. Like, that should be a constant thing for every piece of content in the game.
I reckon just like similar to the Kizuna menu. Just like that kind of stuff. Just so you know what debuffs, maybe you don't know how long or how many turns or whatever, but at least you're aware of what the debuff's going to be and such.
Well,
so
at least for regular content outside TM, well, not really Kizuna either, but like at least there's 0 stamina clears.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. But...
So you kind of build your own teams and stuff based upon the 0 stamina, which is good, but they're never going to, like, they would never do that with TM. I mean, like, they probably could though, if they had like just the boss fights available on Extra Island. So you could build teams to verse just the boss fight itself. Maybe you could do something like that. That would give players the chance to build teams and verse the boss without having to hinder their run by losing or having to gem to revive and such.
Yeah, potentially.
It's always been like an issue in my mind that it just very much frustrates me when thinking about it. But yeah, like we said, XP's lowered. We don't know why. Probably like Todd said that of course hard mode was meant to give more XP, but yeah, it's been lowered, and it has been an issue though because it means less chance to level up during TM, which means more gems you have to invest for stam, and the vicious cycle continues around that. But I guess jumping outside of TM and into the TM blue ticket shop, what are you guys' thoughts on the ticket shop in general? What do you guys think about it? Do you think it's worthwhile? Do you think it's like good? Do you think it's how it's structured? I don't know. Like, what are you guys thinking in terms of that ticket shop?
I wish it was cheaper sometimes.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I think it's
they added those special edition packs where
they're not good though. Like, they're not
Because the annoying thing is, I don't know, this is just from my experience, but the fragments are the ones that I always have the least of.
Hmm.
So I feel like those are the ones that should be discounted, or at least like focus on that, because it's 1,000 tickets and you only get 30 fragments, and then you get like the orb and the crystals and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can also spend 1,000 tickets and get 100 fragments of a color instead. So it's like, I think I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And like, what was it? Like, I think we were talking about it, and I think it's something along the lines like, on average, your blue ticket income, if you want to call it that, is anywhere between like 15,000 to 20,000 blue tickets a month, more or less. And to limit break plus a legend is going to cost you about 15 to 20,000 blue tickets if you have 0 mats whatsoever.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
It's around like that if you think about it, because just like shards alone, you need 400 of every color. So like even that itself is expensive. So you need 4,000 tickets per color by 5. There's your 20k. Like plus all the other mats, which are even more expensive to get a lot of them too. So like you're looking at upwards of like 20,000 tickets, blue tickets that is, to limit break plus a legend.
Like,
Like,
it's a bit ridiculous.
I think like it all circles back to the same conversation of how does Treasure Cruise approach?
It's super weird though,
Limit
right?
break
Because like when you limit break expand a rare recruit or a team unit, they cost
It's
like
so
nothing.
justified, right?
It costs like nothing, and then
It
a legend
literally
costs
costs
like
nothing.
half your shit.
And half the time it's not even worth it.
Honestly,
break plus
I think a
legend.
better way that they should have done it is like, if you limit break plus a character, it should cost the same amount of materials as it does currently, but only for one color.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
Or if it's a dual unit, just make it for 2 colors.
Half and
I think
half.
that's still
Half
fair.
and half.
Or
Just
half and
the
yeah, actually, that's a good
two
idea
colors.
too. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like,
Like,
as long as
that's what they
it's
should do.
that. Like, I feel like if it was 400 shards but of one color, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about 400 shards per color, like 20,000 blue tickets isn't easy in the slightest. You know what I
At the
mean?
same
Like,
time, though, limit break expansion isn't a requirement either. Like, you
I
don't
mean,
need
like,
to limit break
you
expand.
don't need to, but I think I guess I'm kind of like tailoring my answer more towards end game players then.
Yeah.
Because like I think a lot of people, I'm just gonna like shout some names. Like a lot of people, like for example, like Rye, a lot of people like Game Freak, a lot of people like, you know, those high end players that consistently rank high. You kind of look at it as every single previous TM up to when Limit Break Plus got added was kind of redundant or irrelevant. Because all the mats you were earning that were just like getting thrown into the void because you already had 999, kind of a waste.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I guess the simple answer, like, just increase the inventory size. That the sad thing is that is the answer. Increase the size. That means end game players can store up a lot more, and it means like beginning players can just stock up a lot of limit break mats as they just continue to play. It kind of helps everyone out, and we know that they can do quad 9s. We've seen it in skill books. We've seen it in turtles. It's a number. Clearly, the system is in place. Maybe because it's a different looking inventory, maybe it hinders them a little bit. I don't think so, but I don't know. Like I think in that circumstance, it's a big issue. But
yeah, it's funny. It's funny because like all these things we're talking about, we've literally talked about in the podcast before
a million times. I know.
Yeah.
Like we're beating a dead horse, but like we're
Yeah.
not going to stop beating it until fucking something happens. Because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's. Why are you pausing me on that, bro?
But no, you're right.
Nah, like I think it's just annoying. It's very frustrating because TM is literally the worst game mode in Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, it sucks.
TM sucks so much. Like,
but you got to do it.
The sad thing is you have to do it because there's no other way to get limit break mats.
And the units are like pretty decent.
Most of the time, yes. So, like having a game, like, okay, let's go jump right into this. Is TM a dead game mode? That's what I wrote in the notes. Is TM a dead game mode? Or is it only kept alive because we have to play it?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, the only reason it is like, if you didn't have to play Treasure Map, no one would actively play it. Like if there were no limit break materials, if there was no god tier character, if there were no, rewards or anything,
Yeah.
people would not touch this game mode at all. It's just awful.
I
But
guess.
at the same time, some of the rewards are pretty good to go for. Like top 500, I still think is quite good to get those 2 legends from the past 12 months. I think that's a pretty good reward.
Yeah.
But to do that over 5 days, or even 4 days at times, can be troublesome.
Tiresome. You didn't get the correct units. Your teams aren't up to scratch. Blah blah blah. There's a lot of factors that kind of lie into the whole issue about going for a top 500 spot. And on the contrary, JP's rewards are still like leagues and bounds above global. Like top 1K on like global is like top 10K on JP.
I don't know how the scaling works on that. Like, I don't know.
You can argue that like more people play JP, so but like 10K is equivalent to 1K, blah blah blah. But still, though, like
because I think on global there's 10,000 people in New World,
yeah,
and then on JP I think it's 30,000.
I don't know.
I think it is.
I mean, it probably is like something along those lines. But I feel like it's not like the rewards aren't enticing enough. Personally, the only thing enticing about those rewards for me is the limit break materials, and even then, it's like still a struggle to even bother to farm treasure map whatsoever.
Yeah, well, it's like the difference of rewards between top 500 and top 100 are so minuscule. Like, there's no point for going for top 100. Like, I think top 50 gets slightly more stuff, but like legit, like they need to improve the rewards along the way. And yes, there's only how many is it? 10,000 people in New World.
Yeah.
So they can't go too crazy. I definitely agree with that. And plus, considering how non-competitive global treasure map is compared to JP, yeah, they definitely can't be too crazy about it. But at the same time, the rewards do need to be updated. That's for sure.
I guess then speaking on that, how would we collectively as a group solve the issues of treasure map and make it an actually enjoyable game mode to play and compete in?
Well, I think the traversal along the map, I think, is really trash. That shit takes way too long. I don't like the fact I hate versing all the mini bosses over and over again. The mini boss is just so annoying to deal with.
I think the mini bosses should just be optional. If you want to verse them, cool, go for it. If you don't want to verse them, then just I feel like you shouldn't have to. I feel like maybe versing the mini bosses you could maybe even implement a system that's like if you verse the mini bosses, your TM multiplier, your overall thing like gets increased a little bit every time you beat a mini boss. So there might be an incentive to verse the mini bosses, but if you really wanted to, you could just completely skip those mini bosses and just go straight to the boss.
Anyway.
Or even like skip mini bosses, but you don't get any of the drops.
Yeah, I mean like that works completely fair as well. What like traversal though? Would you want it to be like?
Because it still has to be something has to be unique about treasure map. Still, there has to be some uniqueness about it that separates it from the rest of the game.
Yeah,
but at the same time, the traversal is a big problem just because it just takes way too long, and because there has to be like some sort of stamina feature as well.
Why the fuck is it 6 stam per roll?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's really odd.
That still annoys me.
By 100.
Like I remember there was a time where it was 5, or it was a time where it was 5, and I was like, okay, cool. But I think like the ratio is like, what was it 3 stam bars to 2 treasure maps or whatever on average? It's around that, like from people like Lay and stuff telling me. So like that's decent. I feel like it's too long,
like,
bro.
It's about like give or take 70 stamina per map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just too long of a map. I feel like decreasing the size of the map so it goes so the map itself goes faster. Maybe not. You don't have to really change like the quote unquote rewards in the map itself, but
make the game auto go through the map, and then when you reach a fork, you can literally pick which path you want.
Yeah,
until you run out of stamina.
That'd be perfectly fine with me as well.
Because then it keep continuously moving. You don't have to keep tapping the compass to let it keep running. Like just let it do it auto.
Guys, remember we had to tap the fucking thing twice?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
And the boat was slow. Oh my god. Never forget where we started until where we came.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Also, one thing I want to talk about is the expedition thing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still fun. It sucks, but I feel like there's a very simple solution that can make it a lot more effective. So think about it like your nav level 1. So if you do the expedition thing for your whole stam bar, it takes 5 hours. You get 40,000 treasure map points. Right? It's trash. It's never worth it.
No.
What if it was a sense of like it was your nav level multiplied by the base 40,000? So if your current nav level was 20 and you did it, you'd get 800,000 points in 5 hours.
Or maybe like before you set up an expedition, like it has each boss, and then like you align a team to each boss, and then basically it auto plays it for you, and then like you're guaranteed to clear it, the expedition thing. But then like let's say you get the normal points, but it takes like 1 hour per nav level or something.
I feel like
Or
even aside
2
from the
hours.
points itself, putting on expedition and going for 5 hours should increase your nav level at least once.
I do agree for sure.
Like I think the expedition's a great idea in principle because there are obviously times where people just don't have time to play. So just having the thing where you can invest your stamina and get points from it's a great idea. But on the contrary to that, like it taking 5 hours and you're only getting 40,000 points is just
Like,
like
40,000
laughable.
points, like, just one of the mid-map bosses gives you 40,000 points.
But that's
like,
that's what I mean though. Like the thing is like if it was determined like the 40,000 multiplied by your nav level, like in 5 hours time, you can make like let's say if you're now level 20 multiplied by the 40,000, that's 800k points, right? You can get way more than 800,000 points if you played 5 hours at nav level 20.
Yeah.
Easily as well. So I feel like in that sense, it's fair.
Yeah, that could work.
And it would at least justify, okay, let me clear some, like, let me play it first, and then I can set on an expedition for the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that sense, it's fair because it's not like you're getting more points than someone that's playing it. Because I'm sure if somebody's just sitting down and casually playing TM for 5 hours, they're earning more than 800,000 points, even if they had 0 boosters.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that would be fair. I feel like, because that's just been in my head a long time. Like I use the expedition thing a lot because I don't want to just leave the stamp to do nothing with. So I just turn it on while I'm at work. And then when I'm done work, it's finished. I get my 40k points. I can get back to farming if I want to.
Yeah, 40k is garbage.
It's just laughable though. 40k
I didn't actually realize
is
it was that low.
It's terrible. I mean, if you have 200 stam, you get 80k. Whatever. It's equivalent to how much stam you have.
That's so dumb.
You know, but it's just not enough to justify putting it on every single time and playing. You know, especially in situations like this where no one wants to play for 5 days. At least if expedition, like for example, like I don't know, like let's say if you're nav level 40, I'm done. You know, let's say like for example, I'm done farming. You just put on expedition for the next 2 days. You're gonna earn still like a couple million points.
So
you're not gonna rank with it. But
it. If you literally it's like 40k each time, yeah.
40k for 5 hours of play.
Yeah, so that would be if you did it literally from start to finish on a 5-day treasure map. That's 4.8 million points.
Yeah,
apparently.
you can. That's why, like, I never allowed the excuse of people saying that they can't play TM. Because just putting on the expedition thing will get you to 1 million points. That'll give you the unit. You're done. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that. That's the thing that annoys me when people say, I haven't got time. It's like, do you not have time to log into the game once every, like, 5 or so hours? Click, collect your points, start it again. And the thing is, when you invest your 100 stam, over that 5-hour period, you get your 100 stam back.
Yeah,
so you can reinvest it again, you know? Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass though, but I feel like there's a lot of things here. There are a lot of minuscule things that you need to
just doing a couple runs.
Though.
Just doing a couple runs and then some expeditions from there on out, you can get your 1 million points very easily.
Exactly. Like there's no. I feel like if people literally have no time to play, you can just expedition. Even if it's a 4-day TM, what's that? 96 hours. You know, Joby, you're a maths major. Divide 96 by 5. What do you get?
19.2.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what happened, bro? You alright? Let's get shot.
So if you did like how much is that for? For how many hours. Did you
It's
say?
like a 4-day TM. So what?
Yeah,
90
so it's like
hours,
it's just under 1,000,000 points. I think it's 768,000.
you know. So you're more or less gonna get there though. Like that's
Yeah,
the
because
thing.
like a couple runs plus that, like it's
You're gonna get there. Like it's not an excuse, but I guess like maybe a million. Like, this is gonna sound so dumb, but maybe 1,000,000 points is too much to get the unit. Do you think that's fair, or do you think 1,000,000 points is a fair amount for somebody to have to farm to get the unit and get 50 copies of the unit and such?
no, I think 1,000,000's fine.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, 1,000,000's fine.
Yeah, million's good.
It doesn't really take that long.
Because you're probably going to use the unit to farm the treasure map anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair.
And plus, yeah, if people who are having troubles getting to 1,000,000 points, you can use unit in the treasure map as you said, which gives them proficiency or the mastery points, so you don't have
Yep.
to use as many potions.
Yep.
So I think it works out in the long run.
I guess then on that as well, do you guys think? I mean, it's probably just gonna be a yes, but I guess then, like, do you guys think that they should increase the point rewards? And what would be the cap to the point rewards? And what kind of rewards would we see beyond 7 mil?
I think the cap should increase.
To how much though? Do you think?
I think it should be like unlimited. Like you just get like instead of just like no, not like gem. Yeah, probably gems. Maybe
but even like
you
limit. Imagine getting limit break materials every.
yeah,
like,
that's what I
mil,
was gonna
and
say.
you get
Like,
20
yeah.
of each mat or some shit. Like, do you know how great
Yeah.
that would be?
Like every 50,000,000 points, if you make it to that high, you get 5 gems. Every 50,000,000 points, and then like you could do as you said, like limit break materials every 10,000,000 points or something. And then
Like a
every
big, like a bundle of them, though. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Not like some sparse shit that they love to say. Here's 6 shards of each color. It's like, what the hell am I gonna do with 6
Yeah,
shards,
give
man?
us like I don't know, like 20 to 50, maybe 100 if they're extremely generous of each
I mean,
color.
even I feel like that's an issue with the game. They still think that like, why am I buying a limit break pack that comes with like not enough mats to limit break max a unit? To me,
So
that makes
dumb.
no sense.
Yeah.
Limit break materials need to be more plentiful and more available. And because treasure map is the only location in which you can get limit break materials, they need to be given out more. Like we need more players getting to maximum capacity, so then you're more enticed to spend your mats on limit break plusing legends or spending them on units and doing those kinds of things, which then entices you again to farm more to get back to that max cap. It's a cycle. Like remember when there was a point where potions were very hard to get. Now everyone always has like a decent stock of potions at all times.
Yeah,
They're
before it
available
was
from Kizuna and
exactly
stuff.
right. Before it was reversed, like no one could get potions, and now everyone is like, no, I can't get materials.
Potions are now no longer an issue because you can get a bunch of them from Kizuna itself
And
and a
intrusion
bunch from
battles each
TM.
run. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get a large potion every run guaranteed. Pretty
Yeah.
like every like final boss run guaranteed more or less. Like those things that's great. Now we need to see that being executed for TM like mats though. Limit break mats. It's such an issue. I think that's the biggest issue with treasure map. It's because everyone feels obligated not only to farm for the unit, but to farm because because the game's a cycle, the next batch is going to come and you don't want to be the guy that doesn't have his limit break, his new legend max limit broken and blah blah blah. Like it's just a vicious cycle there where like if they're not going to give us enough, people aren't going to be enticed to play at all. And
Another
that's
thing as
where
well-
it becomes scarce.
Another thing as well is that if you end up like not being able to get to 1,000,000 points, that puts you really far behind as well. Because then you gotta use materials to, max out another treasure map character that will take, 2 months to come out to the treasure
Mhm.
map shop. Like you just get really far behind, which is why they need some sort of way to allow people to get points like outside of the ranking or allow people to get points to 1,000,000 points easier because I feel like that seems to be the trouble. But it's also a thing of like global players just in general seem to be more lazy compared to the JP
100%.
players.
There's I mean, like we've all cried about it. Like, don't even get me started about the Whirlpool event again. Like
Yeah,
the,
that
the
shit was
literally
dumb.
candy farming event, But it's correct though. People don't want to farm, but for the most part with treasure map, I don't blame them. Not because everyone the general complaints like, oh, I don't want to get 3 dupes. That's not what it's about. You're farming treasure map for limit break materials. but it's not fun to farm it.
No,
So
not
no
at
one
all.
wants to farm it.
I have an idea.
Let's go. Here we
Here
go.
we go.
They can like add a little island, like you know how they have the island before TM that gives you like the free to play boosters. They could do something like that, but it's before TM and you just get just a little bit of extra points, like 500. No, I think that might be a bit too much, like 400,000 points, and it's like the Kamirasaki Island for the Kaido ranking event. Like something like that. So you get some points like prior.
So everyone starts
really
off
good
at like
idea.
400k or something like that. If you farm the island, you start off at let's say like 500k or 400k, and then that means you only necessarily need to farm 600k worth of points in the TM itself to get to the minimum of 1 million.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
works.
something like that.
That makes
I like
plenty of
that.
sense. I mean, I thought you were even going to go in the direction of like because we've seen it before, like obviously with the returning Stampede like raid islands where it has the specific limit break materials. You could even have an island that appeared after the TM for let's say a week or whatever, that you would verse like just the island and it would drop limit break materials of the TM unit. So if you missed out on if you missed out on a couple, or you don't have enough copies to rainbow the unit or whatever it is, you can at least farm this island. You have a week, and I mean, it's not like it's going to be free. You have to still spend your stam. You know, you might not get the correct drops you require. You're not going to get Chopper Man missions or point rewards or whatever it is. But it's just it's available to you to say like if you want to farm it, or if you ran out of time to get to 1 million, at least there's an opportunity for you to actually get the unit, because like it puts you behind if you don't have the unit. That's the biggest falter there.
It'd be very similar to like before the team Kizunas where you can farm for tokens prior to the event starting.
Same thing. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like that pre thing where you can farm points just before TM starts is actually a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't even have to, even 400k maybe is a lot. Maybe even 250k or something along those lines. You know, like just to jump start you. And I mean, if everyone does it, everyone's still on the same playing field. If you choose not to do it, you don't have time to do it, unfortunately, you're going to be behind. But regardless, though, I assume the people that don't want to do it aren't going to farm on treasure map either. Like I guess that's a fair assumption in that.
Yeah.
Well, TM. And I guess we could go all the way back to Todd's idea of like, what if it was out for a whole month, or if it was out 24/7, you can always go back to farming mats. We've talked about that prior in previous episodes. And I think obviously that's just a great idea regardless. I think that's just probably the best option to do. But I guess these ideas that we're having now are maybe other things opposed to just having it available at all times. Now, getting into another topic, final topic for today's episode before we have a butt ton of questions as per usual. So we do appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
I didn't mention at the start, but we have the community tab available now on YouTube. So you guys can ask us questions there. I'll generally be putting up like the ask for that. So make sure you guys are well aware that we're going to be putting it up there every like 2 weeks or so to get questions and stuff there. But it's the last kind of point, which kind of ties into treasure map and stuff. The logical steps of the game moving forward. So as we've seen in the past, maybe like couple months or so, Treasure Cruise has really taken a big step towards modernizing itself in the gacha game community. I guess for the most part, Treasure Cruise was a very archaic, structured kind of game, very old. Like it was very old gacha game style, nothing really too new. But we've seen a lot of big shifts in terms of a lot of UI updates, a lot of UX fixes, things like stacking, things like selling, just general quality of life improvements. And even for the newer parts, even like an end screen to your Sugar Fest, which makes it easy to share things and just has a better look and feel to the game itself. I guess from that point onwards, what do you guys think is the next step for Treasure Cruise to take to continue that evolution into like a more modern, more nuanced gacha game itself? Do you think like what kind of game modes might it require? Maybe even better quality of life updates. What do you guys overall think Treasure Cruise needs to do to modernize itself for the future?
New pull animations.
Jesus.
All right, bring it back. Bring it back. New pool animations.
I would actually love for them to test trial real-time PvP.
Oh shit! All right.
I don't know how that would work, but
Better
I think it'd be
special
cool.
animations.
What was that, Phil?
Better special animations.
After seeing that bloody Gogeta one,
Yeah, Dokkan goes
Dokkan,
crazy
bruh.
though.
At the same time, they can't skip their special animations.
We can though.
you can
Yeah.
though. It's still better special animations. It'd make me more inclined to watch it.
A lot of people are actually arguing about the treasure map rare recruits and like, oh, how like they don't have specials, but it's like, who fucking cares? Like, really, I think it'd be way better for them to
We've
just
been over this.
like what just give them
Unfortunately.
good special animations to the legends and all that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you want a treasure map rare recruit to have a good?
Oh, you
special?
mean like the extra animation? Yeah, that's odd. Yeah,
Yeah, because
doesn't
when
it
you
show their
like,
artwork.
like the new Man Sherry and the Baby 5, the Sugar that just come out, when you use their special, it just comes up with their
wipe.
artwork.
Yeah, it's the wipe, like the one that like it started with bath time carrot, where we talked about that like episode like 12 or whatever, where her
Yeah.
special animation was just like a screen wipe and it just showed her artwork.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of
I think, honestly,
lazy. But
nearly every
whatever.
character should have that kind of special animation now, because then they could, reserve resources for other things.
I think people watch the animation like once when like Worst Generation uploads it or whatever. Be like,
Yeah.
oh sweet, unit looks pretty
Yeah,
sick.
and when
And
you
you
pull
never
a new
watch it
unit-
again.
Yeah, whenever I pull like a new legend or like a new unit or anything, I
watch
watch the special
Yeah,
animation first
once.
time I use the special.
Yeah, all right, cool. That's sick. All right, whatever. Move on. Like you never, because I think the issue with comparing it to Dokkan though is like, Dokkan runs average anywhere between like 3 minutes to like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Whereas a Treasure Cruise run like is generally a lot faster, and that kind of average time spent in a game is a lot less. You know what
Yeah,
I
I was a
mean?
bit confused as to what you were referring
Yeah,
to.
so was
Yeah,
I.
yeah. So you're saying like in a normal, I get
A
what you're
normal
saying.
run, yeah. A normal run
Yeah.
in Treasure Cruise is way shorter than a Dokkan run.
Correct. Yeah.
Like I guess, and like I mean that is helped by the fact we can skip special animations though. And even then, even if you were to watch them, it would still be way short. I feel
Yeah.
like the reason why the Dokkan kind of has those grandiose ones is because the run's already long enough. People want to at least like get some like I mean, like have you seen the quality of the cards? It's like 144p. We got some pretty cool fucking art in Treasure Cruise. Like, I think Treasure Cruise amongst all gacha games kind of stands at the pinnacle in terms of art and
Would still love to
sprites as
see
well.
moving artworks though. Would be
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
that would be really cool.
Bro, that'd be sick. Like, I mean, like there was a time on Reddit where like one dude was uploading like 35 images a day. I swear,
Yeah.
of just like some app that like made the fire swirl, and I was like, whoa, I was like, that's pretty cool,
like,
bro.
that's such a basic moving artwork.
But it's cool though. Like, it looks sick. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it does a lot for like units, and like it might even add more value to them. It might be
Mhm.
more justified to pull on a unit because it has really cool like artwork and stuff too.
This picture moves.
Hey man, it might push you to do more pulls though. But what things would you guys look into? I mean, obviously, like things especially like summon animations is definitely a big thing, and I personally tinfoil hat feel like it's the next like that's what they're working on right now, just because they've revamped the Sugo Fest a little bit. I don't know if that's true. I doubt that's true, but I think that's my tinfoil hat theory at the moment.
I hope so.
It'd be
I mean,
cool.
even I don't know nor particularly care much for Dokkan. Yikes. But watching Todd do his pulls on stream and being like, "Oh, that animation's really cool. What are we gonna get now?" I was like, "Wow, that's kind of exciting, actually."
Like,
Yeah,
like
'cause,
we,
when you do pulls now, you do a pull on Treasure Cruise, and if you don't get a red, you're like, oh well,
Whatever.
that was a shit multi. But like if you don't get a red, but you see it was like a combination of characters that gives you a chance of getting a secret red, you know there could be one in this multi. You're more excited for the multi.
Mhm.
I feel like even the prior step to that would be a skip button. I'd love a skip button.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, imagine you get 11 golds. All right, but I'm skipping that shit. I don't care if it's a secret red or not. I'm skipping it.
YouTube videos would be so much slower, so much faster. Sorry,
Bro, imagine like
it would take like a fucking hour-long pulling video down to like 20 minutes.
because like I reckon a skip button would just be like great.
A button, so similar to when you finish a run, to either sell to the Rayleigh shop or just sell.
Automatic, just automatic.
Automatic.
You can set. Imagine being able to set like
Like
I don't
characters
want.
that
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
you
want
can set the
turtles. I
characters
don't
that
want
automatically get sent to
evolvers.
Ray
I
shop.
don't want whatever. So when you finish a run, it automatically sells.
No, what I'm
It just
saying is
tells it.
after you do pulls, you have an option in that menu
Hey,
to
hold on,
sell
that's
for
the-
the Rayleigh shop.
I feel like it could be assumed as well, though. I feel like because the game, it's funny because the game's able to determine whether you have max sockets. And you're like, if you have max sockets and you're feeding, let's say you have 5 bind and you're feeding a bind socket, the game says don't do that.
Pause.
You know what I mean? Like the game has the logic behind it to know when something's maxed out. So I guess you could kind of argue that, like, imagine if you finished a Sugo like a multi, right? And like you got a rare recruit that you already had had rainbowed max skill, max sockets, and then max support or whatever it is. And then the game would be like, all right, you have all of this max. Do you want to raise shop it? And then you can choose yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe you want to keep it for something else in the future, or you can just raise shop it. I mean, I reckon that's a great idea. I mean, just like streamlining things is a big issue for Treasure Cruise.
There's nothing worse than like you've just done. Let's say you've done like 10 multis and you got absolutely, and you've been absolutely railed. The last thing you want to do is go through and relive that by selling everything.
I feel like it takes longer to sell the units and like feed them than it does to do the pools itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's so frustrating. It takes like 4 hours and like, but it took me 20 minutes to the pool. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so guys, when you're watching Todd's like hour-long video split up into 3 different parts.
There's like 4 hours.
There's like 4 hours of just him cleaning out his character box.
It takes way too long.
Man, it took so long after the Sober Mask banner. Holy
I didn't want to. I felt that, bro. Too many multis in that one to just go like, oh no. But I think all those I think also a thing that I'd love to see is like a better retry / auto system. I feel like if you have auto on for, let's say for turtles, for example, and you hit retry, auto should automatically be turned on.
I wish. Holy shit.
Like imagine how much more that would streamline the game. You know, if I just hit auto and then if I hit retry and auto was automatically on, it's literally just like what is it? It's like you click OK for the end of the island. You click on the screen once it's done, and then you click retry. So it's like 3 clicks, and you can just get back into the island. It makes it so much more efficient and quickly to get things done.
It would be really good if you could set it up so like you can say do auto runs until I run out of stamina, and then all you have to do is click refill stamina.
Literally about to say that because we always go back to things, but I mean, me and Job always do, but like go back to Don Memo, for example, like that. Like you could set up. Like when I used to farm in the game, I used to just have my stam because you could go over like you could have 999 plus. You could have like 20,000 stam set up, right? So I used to just feed how much stam I need for runs. But even better than that was in 7 Deadly Sins, you can just set auto to be infinite. It just keeps farming. Like I would leave my phone on for like 48 hours and just say, yeah, farm turtles, use gems. I don't give a damn. Like it just keep going until either my
come back in like negative gems.
Bro, fuck it. Give me the part level 2K in like one night. You know, I feel like just streamlining that whole system. Like, I mean, like even if they didn't do that, I mean, like I guess aside from that, maybe even like skip tickets would be a big thing for Treasure Cruise. Like skip tickets for like, bro, imagine if they let you skip tickets like a GARP challenge or something like that. You know, you already finished the challenge, you can skip it. Or like even things like, oh, you can use skip tickets on like daily islands. You can use skip tickets on raids. You can use skip tickets on colos. Where like if you previously cleared it before, you can use a ticket and it just does the island in single stam. So it's not as efficient or as good. But like it'd be like you wouldn't use stam, but you would use the resource of a skip ticket. I think that'd be just hella convenient. Hella streamlined just the whole game in itself though.
That'd be interesting. I don't know if Treasure Cruise needs that per se, but
I mean the runs aren't long enough, I guess, to kind of like not necessarily justify it, but to like advocate for it. But it's one of those things where like it's only going to be a benefit, I feel like, if it's implemented.
Yeah, I guess.
What I had another idea. It's gone. Oh, also, why the hell when I feed, or like not when I do it, when you feed a unit, why does that unit not give me Pirate Festival skill ups?
Yeah, that's dumb.
Or Pirate Festival ability ups, or Pirate Festival XP. But isn't that the whole point of of pulling units though?
Yeah, but they can't make it too easy for us. Jeez.
What do
But
you
like,
mean?
at the same time, like there's materials to literally do everything in this game. Like you don't need dupes of anything unless
Yeah.
if you literally want just another form of the character. Like you
I
don't
mean,
need
like
dupes to
right now,
get the most out of.
scrolls are already hard enough to get as it is. They're not very common at all. And I feel like dupes would have just been another addition to the whole system. You feed dupes for support. You feed dupes to Rainbow. Why not be able to feed dupes to get Pyro Festival abilities and skill ups?
Yeah.
That just makes logical sense in that, like, and I mean, like, that's how they've structured their game, though, to do that kind of stuff too. Yet, it's not a thing. I feel like down the line it might become a thing, but people are going to be so upset if that happens. Do you guys think this is a complete arbitrary? Do you guys think that like Legends will get a fourth limit break ability at some point?
No.
You really think no?
I don't think so.
No.
I feel there's a chance.
They would have did it with Limit Break Plus if that was the
But
case.
they've done it with rare recruits though. What's to say that they won't do something like that with Legends at some point?
Honestly, I can see them doing limit break plus.
If I wake up one morning and I see Limit Break Plus, I'm going back to bed.
Because like
God
legit, they can
forbid,
just
bro.
keep adding to the branch of the limit break, and it's like, oh, you need a new key and need more limit break materials.
It costs you 800 this time of each shard.
Oh no, a character better do some crazy shit. I
Bro,
swear.
that character better go from a 3 times base to like a 7. If they do some insane shit, if I have to feed like 1.2 thousand shards to this goddamn buffoon just to get it to be better of a unit. Anything else, gentlemen?
My last thing would be I want to see them modernize the login screen a little bit as well.
Oh, fix
So
the login times.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe make it go from like 7 minutes to maybe like 20 seconds.
Yes, please.
That's too much to ask.
Dude, how come when I log in Dokkan it takes like 30 seconds or less?
Bro, I logged into Dokkan during Annie and it was faster to log in than it was to log in.
But then again, Dokkan's got pretty shitty assets, so
they do have 144p cards, bro. Actually, kind of doo-doo. I ain't gonna cap.
There's actually someone in the Dokkan community that modded the game and they add like high quality artworks, but like the shit takes forever to download.
Yeah, it would take fucking yonks.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool though.
I guess that's it. Go on,
got some questions?
No, I'm just ending the episode.
All right, yeah, let's go, guys. It's over.
I'm going back to bed.
See you later, guys. We have a butt ton of questions. You all ask too many questions, and I love it. Keep it coming. If you want to ask us questions, you can ask us questions on Twitter at GGP Podcast. You can send through DMs at GGP Podcast on Instagram. And now we'll be getting, you guys can send us questions through the community tab by commenting on the post for that episode. But let us get into some of these Twitter questions. At Kelvin Storm 100 asks, what do each of you think about the One Piece community? Is it good or is it bad? Is it better than most communities?
Are they referring to Treasure Cruise or One Piece?
I mean,
because that's two very different communities.
Yeah, we
can do both. What do you guys think about the One Piece communities in general, though?
Well, every community has the toxic people. You know, I see One Piece stands on Twitter all the time defending One Piece to its end.
The thing is, with toxic people, they're the ones that you see more often because they're the loudest.
Correct.
Sorry, keep going, Todd.
No. You're completely right. Like they are the ones that you'll see the most of because they're the ones that get shared all the time. It's just like, oh, look at how stupid this person is. Yeah, you're right. But I think overall the One Piece community is relatively welcoming. I'd say. I mean, I've had pretty good relations with a lot of the other One Piece related content creators that I've talked to in the past, and I think they're all good guys. So, I mean, I think it's pretty good.
I've seen a lot of gatekeeping. That's my only issue.
I'd agree with that. Tenfold.
Yeah, I think gatekeeping's terrible in any community.
Yeah.
Should be trying to get more people into your into what you enjoy, not trying to turn people away.
One Piece as well, though, because it's not on the caliber. Like maybe the quality you could argue, but it's not on the caliber in terms of people as like Naruto or like Dragon Ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I rate One Piece way higher.
Oh yeah, like
than,
I think
probably both
like,
of those. Oh,
exactly
yeah,
right.
probably
But like
the same vein
if you think about
Dragon
like
Ball.
community wise though, the people that are like the people that are fans of One Piece are not necessarily insignificant, but definitely not as many as there would be for people like Naruto or Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So I feel like
much
gatekeeping just kind of like we want people to be involved in One Piece because it becomes way more mainstream than it currently is, you know, because then like us as like current fans of it and future fans are all just going to benefit way more if it becomes a lot more popular. I mean, they have to close down the goddamn Tokyo Tower. Yeah, how sad that shit is.
Yeah, bro, that was
Yeah.
bad. That
That's-
sucks.
That's just That
That
was
shit was
like
rough.
that was one of our like highlights of going to Japan.
That
was
was so
amazing.
saddening to see that.
How was that trip for you, Joba? Nice. Anyway, I don't know. This guy's family over. He's doing something or other. I don't know, bro. All right. Well, then I guess we're gonna flip it on its head. What do you guys think about the One Piece Treasure Cruise community? I'm just gonna take a step back. I'm not gonna say anything. So I'll be upset if I start talking too much, bro.
Start teeing off on people.
I'll start dropping names. I don't even give a damn, bro.
I don't think it matters which gacha game community you're referring to. I
All
mean,
the
like
same
I
shit.
don't play Seven Deadly Sins a lot. I've seen the community in Seven
Oh, that
Deadly
community
Sins.
sucks,
dude, no,
bro.
yeah, that
Oh, Dokkan Battle has also some crazy people there. Like it's everywhere.
It's just people being salty and like because like I feel like that the content creators would obviously cop it a lot more than most.
Naturally.
Because like they're like, oh, you're not using units that I have. It's like, well, I can't exactly see your character box, dude, and maybe your units can't clear it. Or it's like, oh, I'm gonna just blast you in your comments or dislike your video or whatever because you pulled the unit I wanted to pull. Or you know what I mean? Like if you pull a dupe of a unit that you've pulled 30 dupes of and someone's never pulled them in their whole like Treasure Cruise playing time, they get mad. It's like it's hard because like why can't you just enjoy the game and enjoy the videos because like that's all. Why are you mad? It's only game.
JP players. I feel like it happens a lot to the JP players. Like looking at like the like to dislike ratio and like all of Coruscant's videos is hilarious.
Oh, dude, he gets it bad.
He just gets so many dislikes. It's like, bro, he's spending a fortune. Like, let him like. He gets shafted all the time as well. He never gets lucky at all in like any single fest ever. He just do so many multis, and people
and then they're like the ones
dislike
that
it.
gets lucky on, and they're like, "Oh no, you're so lucky, you always get it." It's like,
bro, this man literally did like over like 20. Bro, he has so many pulls, man. Leave him alone. He's the goat of PvP now too. So,
I mean, he's ranked first in every single
bro. You know how much money, bro. You know how much money that is, dude. Oh my,
he's insane.
That's too much. But that's what Kobe's gonna do. No cap.
I don't know about that one. Yikes.
I mean, ranking your PvP is going to be a lot easier.
It's gonna be simple, bro. Just
I
don't.
wonder though, because we won't have to be. It probably won't be top 700 though.
Yeah,
for the finals.
just don't show anyone any good
7,000.
teams. Show them some doodle-ass teams.
yeah, show them do some free to play teams for them.
Yeah, and then we're gonna
Hell
make
yeah.
the good teams, and we're just gonna beat. And it's easy money for us. And at that
Yeah,
point.
guys, you want to build this team.
Yeah,
This team's
you
really good, I
You
promise. And
upload
then
your
we just have
teams
the
to them
counter, bro.
after PvP ends and say, "These are the teams I use."
This team you should
PvP."
use in PvP, guys. Oh. All right. I guess we'll continue on now. Abdul Leon asks, currently on Japan, we're in Wano. So who do you think would get a legend soon based upon the One Piece episodes, like the One Piece anime?
Queen.
I think Queen's the next logical step. If you're talking about Wano specifically, it's Queen, 100%.
Or Kinemon, or both,
Or
in my opinion.
Or X-Drake.
I mean, I guess
Yeah, maybe actually.
with Japan doing like the whole at the moment like 2 legends a month, which I personally think is good. It's kind of a little bit of like time between legends.
As long as both of them are good.
As long as both of them are good.
Hawkins.
Rest in peace. That's my man's, but rest in peace, bro. But no, I think for the most part, I guess we can all consensually say it'd probably most likely be Queen. If not Queen, to be like someone like Kinemon or X-Drake definitely would be the next logical step for JP to release as a legend.
And before they do like a V3 Big Mom and it's one.
Oh
Big
no!
Mom.
Throw Lore in the mix as well for me.
Yeah, Lore needs someone.
Lore
Bro.
another Lore.
Yeah,
he needs someone or other. No, you don't. I reckon Luffy Lore is gonna be the first 6+ dual unit. It's gonna be Luffy Lore from Wano. That's my tinfoil hat theory. That's my tinfoil hat.
I want Lace to get it.
Hey, all I'm saying, man, is that GGP gets things correct. Like 60, we have a 65% hit rate, I reckon.
Well, that's the thing. Who do you? Okay, well, I don't know if this is a question or not, but who's the next 6+?
Yeah, what
Love
legend?
Luffy.
What legends are we missing? That like base legend, not dual forms.
Well, in terms of the old ones, the only like really old ones that don't have one is Log Luffy and
Luffy.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard's not getting one this month at least.
I
Next
think,
one after that's Dofi. V2.
yeah, I think V2 Dofi is very, very due for one.
Bro, he's gonna be a dirty.
I feel like
Give him
His
he'll get worse.
special
You know?
gets rid of normal attacks only, and then it does his
Oh
special. Hello.
no!
Just
He
make
gets
him the
double-
best character in the fucking
He
game.
gets a 4th limit break ability. That's double special
shit.
activation. It's fine.
It just removes all debuffs, and then it hits his
He just
special.
wins the
Yeah, I
fucking
was gonna say.
raid. You just use him at the start of the quest and you win.
Yes, sir.
I would also like to see the V2 Admirals get a 6+.
That'd be pretty cool.
Especially Akanu.
Hey,
Yes.
where's my?
You know,
Where
Akanu
I wish Kizaru gets a legend at some point in the game.
No, fuck him.
I know he's only got rare recruits at this point in time.
Bro, he's
Oh.
got raids. His best unit's a raid unit, bro.
And I would exceptionally love the movie legends to all get 6+.
I reckon Movie Legends getting 6+ would actually be fucking sick.
Yeah, they could do a whole event surrounding it too. Like it'd be sick.
That'd be like they'd be like.
What do you mean? Bullet already has a 6+.
It doesn't.
All the
count.
others need it though.
The other 3 ones. He gets
They all need it.
You can get 5.25 for himself and 4.75
Oh
for
my
everyone
God.
else in his crew.
Wait a minute.
All I'm saying is Azor with Limit Break Plus and then 6+, bro, he'd be sick.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
he'd
saying.
be.
Nah, they changed him so he's worse.
Oh no. Don't do
You can
this.
only get goods.
Or like perfects are replaced with greats instead.
You just
So,
So like you can't
Good,
get perfects
perfect,
at all.
great.
hey, new podcast. Good, perfect, great. GPG boys, welcome back.
But then when you use your special, your characters go through barriers.
Oh, hold on.
Yikes.
I still don't like that.
Hey, is someone writing this stuff down? One of our ideas could
Yeah,
be correct.
Bandai intern's got the notepad out.
It's Bandai Spy is
Scribbling.
leaking this information right now. As we speak, bro. He's somewhere. I don't know where he is though. All right, at Harry Druconis asked, Log
Oh, there you
Luffy
go.
Log Luffy 6+ concept. What would it
Would
be?
OP if Rainbow OP
That's I think
was
I just said that as a separate question.
Okay,
that's why-
sorry. Yeah.
What do you guys think the Log Luffy 6+ would be?
Keep the good, great, perfect thing because that works for us.
Yeah, we need some advert. we need a mascot.
Honestly, if they just kept it
He's
his captain
just
keep his captain effect the same, but just make it 5 times.
Make it higher.
Special replace one of our podcasts.
It takes if you're a subscriber. If you are, you win.
Yeah, you would use a special just a shout out to those guys.
Oi!
Hey!
Where's Joba? Yeah, rest in peace, Joba.
Well, that's
bro.
the one for the podcast then. There you go.
There you go.
Everybody gets one.
And then I guess I mean this is like,
special.
yeah. What does your
Yeah.
special do? I need to be some crazy AOE through barriers, like maybe some sort of maybe like some not.
AoE
guaranteed-
through barriers changes all orbs to strength.
I think even like
and
make
treats strength
colors matching or
orbs.
some shit like that.
I was gonna say changes all orbs to strength. Any of these captain ability would treat strength orbs as matching, and then as well as that, just give like I'd say an affinity boost or some shit.
Affinity boost, I think, makes the most sense.
Oh, and during the turn you launch his special, Log Luffy is super effective against all types.
Yeah,
I think that's
cool.
great. I think
Yeah,
that
I
works.
think that.
That'd be fantastic.
I think that's really cool.
Nice, good job, guys. We did it.
All right,
We did it.
all right. Hey, Ben,
Make it happen.
Yeah, Ben, that's why you're listening. That's a great legend. It's not. It won't be too OP, but I reckon it'll modernize him a lot, make him
Yeah.
clear a lot of content. So, you
Oh,
know,
dude, Subconsi's already planning the teams.
that boy is creaming. Pause. And then he also asked, I guess this question kind of answers itself. Would it be OP if a rainbow super type would exist or get released?
Yes.
depends on
Well,
how they
yeah.
depends on how they
Sugar.
do it.
Yes.
Sugar is a rainbow
Sugar.
super type.
You're not wrong, but no, like it would be OP because
Yeah.
even just that affinity, like the base affinity getting boosted 2.5, is like crazy in itself.
Well, that's the next anniversary legend, so
Hey, all right, keep it moving, bro. That's too much, sir. I like this guy's name. At Papa Guy Mortal asks, what do you guys remember from the game that brings some nostalgia to you? What's a little like rose tinted goggles kind of nostalgia for you guys in Treasure Crew?
Blitz
Like-
battle #1.
oh yeah, Blitz Battle 1 was fantastic. Holy shit. Man.
I
a
know
good
what
one.
you're about to say, Todd, and I agree. You set an alarm at 2 a.m. to wake up to farm
Dude,
turtles.
turtles.
Wait, that was exactly what I was gonna say. How did you get that from what I was gonna say? What the
I
hell?
know, we're on the same
You're the same
wavelength, bro.
bloke.
Dude,
You're the
what?
same-
I was literally about to say wake you up at 1 a.m. for turtles, and
Yeah, dude, I got
holy
you.
shit,
I got you.
that's insane. But yeah, that's what I
Farming
was gonna say.
Luchikaki 3 million times because a new
The
Luchi unit
socket.
would come out.
Fortnite, no.
Or like Afro Luffy.
Or farming for Whitebeard skill books or Boa skill books. Back
Oh
in
my
the
god,
day.
that used to be so much worse. Having
VV
max,
Laboon.
yeah,
Vivi Laboon, oh my god.
having max box space, waiting for 4 months for skill up.
200 box space for literally nearly a year.
You got like 7 copies, bro. I'm ready
My,
to go.
my first ever run
Kraken
of the
Fortnite.
Kraken Fortnite.
my first ever run of the Garp raid, the very first Garp raid was fucking an hour and a half long. Viva
Yep.
Lagoon.
Same.
Oh my god. I
But
think
you
for
do
me,
what you
it's
have to
like,
do. You do what you have to do.
amen. I think for me, it's like we used to like during like blitzes or like TMs in the past, we used to just hop into like a voice call with like 35 people all farming at the same time. We used to play like just random ass games and like those are the fun, like those are just the times like it's good. You just hop into call, then you'd hear bing 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 bing, like 35 people just join. You'd just be chatting
Damn.
shit about treasure cruise for like 6
Oh,
hours.
that'd
straight,
be too
bro.
overwhelming for me.
that shit was that was so like those are the good times. For me, I don't know. Probably like waking up for turtle time. I don't know. Like it was just sad as cool turtles. This is how I'm gonna get XP now.
Nah, just farming the Baratier for those couple of turtles.
Oh,
True.
waiting,
Yeah.
waiting
Shout out to
for your monthly skill up. That was always a big thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. Before.
And then still not maxing out the unit.
Oh no.
Yeah, with like 60 copies.
All right.
Good times. Good times. Good times.
Yeah. Remember when the game was good?
Objectively, that's when the game was worse, but we liked it
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, we liked it
Exactly.
better.
Stockholm, bro.
Maybe we just all have onset Stockholm syndrome. At FTW at a C. I got it, bro. I'm not thinking. At Dan Cito asked, I don't know if anyone has thought about this idea, and if they have, sorry, but what do you guys think about Bandai adding a 4-star ticket to the snail with how rare it is to get 5 gems? It's basically the same thing because it's rare, except it's a free pool. Don't say economy.
No.
We
I'd
actually
rather
I can't
Don't
remember
dilute the
what
pool
episode
anymore.
we spoke about it on. But modernizing the snails to have better rewards that sort of suit
Yeah.
where we're at the game.
Just,
I would 100% support a ticket in there.
Yeah,
I
but
would
like you'd have to remove some stuff though, because I don't like then you're just diluting the pool too much.
Yeah, I know, obviously, but yeah, that's what we were saying. Like, remove the cola because it doesn't fucking
Fuck
matter.
cola.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna say
berries
the
are like
belly.
10,000 berries. Like, who cares about that? Like,
remove the cola or the berries for a 3-star or higher ticket.
yeah, and then whack in some
Literally,
cotton candy and stuff as well. Like, I don't know.
Kenny, whacking some limit break mats / potions.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe chucking some scrolls in there too. Or maybe like have really, really rare, like a really, really rare pool that could be, God forbid, you get like a tablet, or you could get like support medals.
They
like
would much rather put a legend ticket in there than give us tablets.
Yeah,
They won't ever do that though.
The sad thing is, like, that's worse for them. If you're really going to talk about economy, a tablet isn't guaranteed. A legend is, though. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, it's.
But yeah, I'm all for them modernizing that pool as well, and I think a ticket would be a great idea.
Ticket addition of a ticket, I reckon, would be very not needed, but very it'd be very good.
I liked it.
At Ahmed Naib 6 asks, what anime would you like to see get a good new gacha game? My choice would be Hunter x Hunter. What do you guys
That'd
think?
be great. JoJo.
JoJo, yeah, I definitely could see it.
JoJo would be cool, actually.
Some sort of like 3v3.
I mean, a
PvP
good My Hero game would be nice too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Doesn't Digimon have a gacha?
It does, yeah. It's actually very
Grind,
popular.
it's like a grind fest though. Like hell, that's
Yeah, I tried to play it and I just couldn't get into it.
It's
I've
very
heard
pay to win, I think, as well.
yeah, very very bad. I don't know. Really, like I guess like every shonen will probably eventually
Yeah.
get a game at some point. For the most part, I mean, like, how's that? Have you guys had?
Who
you
needs
guys
a good gacha? Naruto.
Yeah, he did say a good gacha game, so I guess Naruto does.
Oh,
it.
if we're talking good gacha game, then I think One Piece.
Oh no.
Oh no. No, for real though, if you're saying good gacha game, Naruto really needs a new gacha game that's actually like half decent. But
So does
that's-
Digimon.
yeah, a lot of shonens could really just fit the bill, you know, because they have a variety of characters. They have different kind of fighting abilities and styles and such. So
I mean, Pokemon too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Master
We're
was
not
okay.
playing Pokemon Unite. We got the gang right
Oh,
here.
no.
We're
Fuck
pulling up
that.
Pokemon Unite, bro. We're gonna get Charizard 1 in Pokemon Unite, dude.
I'm not
Alright.
touching that game with a fucking.
I'll play. I reckon I'll give it a
definitely
shot.
give it a go.
I'll give it a shot, and if I like it, fuck it, I'll play it. But like,
Make
I
sure you
don't-
do it on a burner email address.
nah, I'm gonna do it on my main email address. I
Yeah,
can't
you
wait to
get
get.
phone
can't wait
calls
to
in
get
the middle of
It
the night.
looks like the
Oh,
type
that's
of game
hot.
that everyone's gonna like hype up for a month and then no one's gonna touch ever
Everyone's
again.
gonna play it for a month, and I was gonna touch again. 100%.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those games where I flat out refuse to play because it's shit, and then you guys all play it, and then when I finally download it, you guys.
Everyone's probably
Probably.
all right. And Ben Omega W Network asks, do you guys think we will ever see another crossover event with Dokkan? Also, I've been loving the podcast. They have been amazing. Thank you very
I
much.
think there is going to be another crossover. Don't know if it's going to be with Dokkan, but if you had seen, there was a thing with the whole quiz. They said, "What do you think of the crossovers with like global and Japan, all that stuff?" So it's not that far of a leap to go from that to go to crossing over with other games. So I think there will be.
I think
another crossover.
logically, Dokkan just like makes sense. Even if there, if there was an event, we would get washed 100%.
We get
But like,
slapped.
I mean, we won last time, but we've lost.
yeah,
player
but
base.
that's when global was so like insignificant in Dokkan sense. Now it's just crazy.
Global Dokkan was really bad for a long time.
I still make the argument that I made last time when everyone thought we were going to lose is Treasure Cruise players know how to grind more than Dokkan players do.
Yeah, no, I still
quality over quantity, and we're down a lot.
I agree with that in terms of I do agree. Like I think Treasure Cruise players definitely understand the grind a lot more than Dokkan players do. I mean that might be like some tea, but I don't know. Fuck it. Like I do agree with that, but I think like logically Dokkan. But I think any kind of, but I feel like if a crossover event, and we've talked about this a bunch of times in other podcast episodes as well. But I feel like if a crossover event occurs, instead of it just being like you farm an island, you get some candy and gems. I feel like releasing a unit would be sick. It would be so
Yeah.
A
cool.
Luffy Goku fusion unit.
Something like even like some sort of cool dual unit like that. I think would be like crazy fun.
The fuck did you just
that-
say? Did you say Luffy Goku fusion?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna allow just to keep it
Have
moving.
you seen all the fusions they do in fucking Dokkan?
Yeah.
Can't wait for that
Janembu.
fucking Super Saiyan God,
Janembu.
Super Saiyan Goofy.
Luku.
Luke.
Oh god.
I'm gonna kill it now. But yeah, Dokkan's the most logical, but I feel like any other shonen style gacha game makes plenty of sense. And I guess we're just all really hoping for a crossover because it's always gonna be fun, and generally the events are just exciting.
Yeah, and then like the two communities do tend to come together and just have some banter. So
Yeah. And I'd just love to shit talk nanogenics on
yeah,
Twitter.
same.
And then watch us win and be like,
Nano and Rhyme just shit
suck
talking.
it.
Can we give a shout out to that guy?
Shout out to that guy.
Can we use our second of the episode?
We definitely can. Go for him.
All right, yeah, shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. At come at me dough asks, how about a legend unit for the true legend Fisher Tiger? Single unit, dual unit with Jinbei, some pirates. What do you guys think? Fisher Tiger legend?
Crew,
How is
he should be a crew, like a dual unit with his crew.
Yeah, so he did put Sun Pirates crew, which I think would be freaking sick.
That'd be
That was
cool.
okay.
Legend.
They have to make it different from Arlong, otherwise it's like gonna just look the same.
Yeah, because like I feel because like Legend Hody and Arlong crew are very similar style legends in terms of
Bro,
their cap.
wait till Hody crew comes out. You won't be able to tell the difference between Arlong crew and Hody. It'll be literally
Hody crew is
same
not a
unit.
legend.
Yeah,
That'd be
dude.
awful.
No, Fisher Tiger deserves a legend for sure. That'd be cool.
I mean, like, who knows what legends they're releasing anyway? You know what I mean? Like, there's not like we don't like they just released Smoker and Sugar. Just like obviously they were Twitter things, blah blah blah. But like for the most part, they can really just release like anything. Like at this point now, like they don't necessarily have to follow the story verbatim. They can kind of just like throw caution to the wind and just start releasing legends that they think will just sell a lot.
When are we getting filler Sugo fests with made up characters?
Okay, relax. We already have too many fucking characters in like One Piece in general, bro. You could like, bro, if Kumasaki could get a legend, anyone can do it, man. That's all I'm saying, bro. Feels bad for Cobb, man.
But again, like if they did introduce like really random characters like that, it'd be kind of good because you know how like you can't overlap characters in the game.
That's
You
true.
can't have like more than one Luffy on the team. You know, adding just more diversity to characters would be good.
Would Luffy Goku fusion count as a Luffy unit or?
That's my question. I thought we were killing that.
It's back, baby.
Either way, though, if they did like do something like that, like a dual legend Luffy Goku would actually be kind of sick.
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
Gum,
Gear 4 Luffy and
Gum Kamehameha.
That'd be the special name for sure.
Hey, tinfoil hat, baby, put it on. It's that we're calling it right now, bro. Come back to this episode when we're right.
Instant Gamu no Gatling.
Ooh. At BBJ077 asks, would you guys maybe make a GGP where you talk about the OP manga like up to date and your theories and such? So this is a good question to segue off things. No, we haven't forgot about our 1K promise. We're working behind the scenes on getting ideas together for episodes. We already have one GGP extra planned out and ready to go. We just need to find the time because like to actually film it and get it ready to go. We have not forgot about doing a face cam episode. Once again, we have to plan it. We have to set out the scheduling. We have to get the splash screens together and stuff like that. Make sure everyone's on the same thing.
Getting everyone together at the same time can be a bit tricky, especially with
that in
quarantine.
itself is impossible, pretty much.
Especially for us Aussies now. We're like, especially for me, Todd and Dill, like we're back in quarantine again. Back in super lockdown.
And I'm still at my job's still very new, so I've got to accept every shift I can get. So it's hard for me to get on the pod now.
And no, we have not forgot about the Twitch stream. I've just been opposed to it because my PC is basically a ticking time bomb. And I don't want to start an episode and I just get a blue screen. So
you don't have to host it.
I know that, but like those things are in the works. We are thinking about a lot of them. Don't worry, everything's being planned. It's just taking a little bit longer than we would have liked, but we will get on top of those things. But that is definitely a good idea, and we most likely will just add it to the video ideas that we currently have, because I think just a couple, like half an hour, 45 minutes of us discussing the manga would actually just turn out to be a pretty good video overall. At Liam Lime 182 asks, thoughts on adding categories into the game? For example, Pirate, Marine, Revolutionary, East Blue, Grand Line, Devil Fruit, Paramecia, Zoan, Logia, etc. Might be hard to implement now, but I always thought it'd be a cool idea.
It's a cool idea. It just makes the game really complicated.
I disagree.
It is, actually, I actually would love for it to happen, but yeah, I actually think that if a new player comes in and then sees that on top of everything else that a character needs and already has, it might be a bit overwhelming. I do kind of agree. But at the same time, categories would be so good for the game, I feel.
I mean, it'd just be such a cool step to have a captain ability and then have supporting. I mean, obviously, we're just becoming Dokkan at that point. But I feel like categories would be really cool, though. If you had 4 of a category, some shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you make new captain effects, boosts Grand Line characters by X value.
I mean, and then it just exponentially just increases the possibilities for units to be released.
Yeah.
And then units' abilities and specials and captains and supports and stuff as well. But even things like, you know how in like a lot of like RPG games where it's like, if you have this set of armor, you get a bonus, you know? You could even do that with categories if you didn't want to go down the Dokkan route.
It'd be like a link skill.
Yeah,
right?
like if you had 4 units on your crew that were from the East Blue, you got each of those units got plus something base or plus 3 cooldown or those kinds of things. It'd make team building. It would add another layer of complexity, and I guess that might not be a good thing overall. But on the contrary, for endgame players, it would be to add another level of complexity to team building, where you can start to build teams that might revolve around categories that will allow you to
imagine like a quote unquote link skill for like Conqueror's Haki, and it's like if you've got 6 characters that all have Conqueror's Haki, you know, after you hit a certain amount of perfects, you get end of turn damage to all characters or something.
I reckon that should be so cool, because it literally just add more things that could do to the game. A lot more.
I know TG Rebirth going. I mean, that's not a great example of anything ever, but that game did have categories, and that shit was so obnoxiously overcomplicated. It just, because you think of the categories, right? For like someone like Luffy, you could have like Conqueror's Haki, Will of D, Pirate, Male. I don't know.
Like, know me.
It just adds in way too much. I don't know. I just feel like it overcomplicates a system that I think One Piece Treasure Cruise actually has right with types and classes. I feel really comfortable with the system they have now. I think it would overcomplicate things.
I feel like if you just had categories be like a passive boost, if you had X amount of like if the whole crew was if it was 6 units had a category and it gave you like a passive boost. It didn't add anything else onto it though. Like there wouldn't be captain abilities or specials associated with it. But just like having that kind of stuff and like it'd just be another menu. You look at, all right, cool. This crew has the Will of D and it also has Conqueror's Haki or whatever. So I get plus 100 attack from Will of D and I get plus 1 cooldown because of Conqueror's Haki or whatever it is like that. I think
I like that a lot, actually.
That would work. I feel like because that wouldn't add the idea of being like, oh, if you have 6 in your captain abilities this and it does more and I feel like if it was just a passive boost that you gained because you had 6 of a unit or you had 4 of a unit, because like I feel like that makes sense because you wouldn't have, it wouldn't be a necessity to build for it, and I don't think it takes away anything from building as well. It would only be a benefit to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I reckon it could work. It'd be hard, but I reckon it could work though.
Yeah, definitely needs some refinement, that's for sure.
At Christos 85660305. Great by the way.
Really rolls off the tongue.
Which version do you think has the better Sugo Fest structure, global or JP?
Structure, global.
Probably global.
I reckon global because they can look at JP and be like, bet.
They look at JP, that sucks. Let's do it better.
I mean, like, just like take this this coming Sugo Fest like as an example. Like the Stampede Sugo Fest is great. Like it's really just been completely overhauled from JP Sugo Fest, and now I personally think it's very good. So I feel like generally most of the time,
examples of both.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I mean, just look at V2 Slashes when they came out last year. Our Sugo was infinitely better than theirs.
Yeah, that Sugo was great.
Our V2 Slasher Sugo was insane. I mean, to look at the Bullet Sugo that's about to come out, it was really good. But then you look at the Kaido Sugo Fest that we got, it was
we don't talk,
the same
I feel like that was more of a punishment for fucking Valley.
How was it? That was their fault, though. That was their mistake. There's no punishment.
Yeah, but everyone took advantage of it.
And then they still fixed the problem. So, like,
not really. The people who walk away with like a full box of Rainbow units.
I mean but now Rainbow units are just irrelevant now, so it's fine. That's part for the course of that point. But I don't know. I guess like there is definitely arguments in both directions. But I think for the majority of the part, it would probably be global that has the better Sugo Fest structure.
We had all gold and 30 gem multi discount for way longer as well. Like we had that for a very, very long time. I think people took that for granted after a while.
Does JP still have Sugos that have silver units on it? Or have they completely thrown that away now?
No, not anymore.
No, that's been gone since Slashes.
Yeah. Still fake silvers in the banner though.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Or fake golds, whatever.
Just fix the pool so you remove all the units. That's probably.
Just
give
me units that I don't have, please.
Give me the new ones. All right, now go into the questions from the community tab. Ooh.
Here we go.
Andrea Freshie asks, which dupe legend do global players need to keep in their box for the PvP power-up abilities? Well, unfortunately, Andrea, dupes don't do shit all to power up your abilities, but it is important for you to have dupes fed into your units because the more things your unit has, so if it has max skill, max sockets, max special, max level, rainbow, the more quote-unquote power level it does have.
Yeah, they have more stats.
Yeah. So for that sense, like literally just feed units if you can to rainbow out your units, but unfortunately dupes for units don't do anything for PvP centric abilities and skills itself.
As of yet.
Which is stupid.
As of yet, but yeah, it's still dumb. It's ridiculous. At Geo, I say at Geo, but Geo asked, I think this might be Geo from Dynasty, so if it is, how you doing, Geo? How many are y'all planning to do, or is it for French Annie, or is it dependent on the structure?
Dependent on the structure.
Yeah, always dependent on the
Totally.
structure.
So let's arbitrarily say guaranteed 20 for Shanks.
I'd
Who's doing it?
see how we go. It also depends on like
Missing legend and blah 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 and rate
what's
boosted.
the rate boosted and like just like basically whether or not well obviously if I've put enough money away in my savings that day that pay, so like I don't want to dip into my savings to try and make it to 20. So if that's
If
the case,
it's 3x red rate and 20, I'm doing 20. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm doing 20. If it's 2x and 20, probably not. If it's 30, I would never do 30, but I might drop like 6 or 10.
Yeah.
That'd be like my kind of caps.
It depends on the steps leading up as well. Like usually the steps 1 through 9 are pretty reasonable.
I mean the steps on the Luffy Zoro banner were kind of meh.
Doo-doo.
They were pretty meh overall.
That whole
Did
Sugar
more
Fest was meh, except the fact that they were guaranteed. That's about it. But no, I think it's completely dependent for the majority of us that the structure of the Sugar Fest itself. But generally, French Annie always does well, and it always is a good. For the most part, it's a good Sugar
French
Fest.
Annie is always typically better than
Anniversary.
Yeah, better than the
Yeah.
actual Annie, dude.
Weird.
So fingers crossed, right? He also asked a player. He also asked another question. He said, "Do you guys think the JP player base likes the new format of 2 legends per release, 4 with Annie being an exemption, or should Bandai relax?" What do you think, Knight, as the token JP player? Do you think 2 legends a release is a good idea?
I think it's fine. It's not too bad. I get one on the Suga Fest and one in TM. So.
Okay.
Oh my god, this guy talking it up.
Alright.
Oh my god.
No, but I think 2 legends of Sugo Fest, as long as it's separated that it's like 1 new batch a month, I think that's completely reasonable, because generally we're getting to the point where like every week was a new like legend, and that was intense. But I think 2 legends a month is perfectly fine, and it's cool as well. Like
Yes,
good,
typically they're doing 2 legends and 2 rare recruits.
I think that's good. I think it works out well.
But then again, it might just be for super typing.
I think I don't know.
I think just for super
Do you
typing.
so like I guess then after
They did it before super typing, because it's been that way since Luffy
Oh,
Zoro.
Nami Robin did it too.
Nami Robin, Shanks crew, and
Luffy Zoro had 3
Oh
rare
no, he
recruits.
did. No, he definitely did. It started with Luffy Zoro Soba. No, it started with slashes.
Rayleigh and Mihawk, they had 3 rare recruits, I think. Yeah, Heracles, Ivankov, and Akuma.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
Yeah, either way.
it's been 2 legends for a minute. But I feel like these 2 legends, as long as it's like a decent amount of time between like Sugos, or like not Sugos, but like between batches, then like for me personally, it's a lot more justified.
Yeah, I think once per month to have 2 legends in one big Sugo celebration is fine. And it looks like every single debuting banner is going to be double legend rate from here on out, which is cool. Well, at least double legend rate.
Just up the base rate now at this point. It's like you might as well. I guess 2 times does look more enticing than just saying like having the base rate upped, but who knows? I don't get paid the big bucks. But yeah, cool. Ethereal 14 asked, if there was a legend smoothie, what mechanics would you give her? All right, boys, go wild.
Legend smoothie.
Turns to Kurita juice.
Could
It would
juice.
juice. You can go.
Can she juice me?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Why would I bother asking this guy?
Someone has to pick up Gerber's slack.
That said though, right? What if you could, like, you know, with your targeting, your manual targeting, you target like a certain color enemy, and when you launch a special, it gives you a different juice effect depending on which one, or maybe like a captain ability instead.
Oh.
Maybe the juice turns the enemy
changes
into a
your
color
colour,
that's strong
or
against.
changes
Yeah.
your color to be stronger.
Yeah, to that color. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, this is
being a-
like a shit bullet then.
Yeah. Well, we can't all be Bullet.
Forget it. Bullet's the most underrated legend in the game. It's fine, all right? Like, it's
Actually, do you know who
fine.
I think is actually like seriously underrated?
Cyber Koala.
No, I think Komurasaki's underrated.
I've been ringing this bell
I've been saying this for
for ages.
Yeah. Dude,
Ever
I think
since
she's really
Coruscant
good.
rated her in the top 3 legends of the year. I've been ringing this shit. Now
I
you'll
actually think
believe
it's
me.
true. Yeah. She's really good.
I have been redeemed. Cobby, you're welcome,
I
sir.
know, man. I know.
No, for sure.
But yeah, I think that'd be cool. Maybe, yeah, like captain ability like that.
I think
depending
this
on who you
whole
target.
the new mechanic thing is cool. I think like as legend batches get released, I do like the fact that like Smoker is just a cut like straight legend, really good boost, does some cool things, and then Sugar having a brand new mechanic's really exciting. I don't expect the Bandai team to continuously have new mechanics to bring out every Sugar Fest, but I feel like for legends that have like unique abilities, like Smoothie, for example, I think that'd be really interesting if they could implement a kind of mechanic like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they could do for her though.
You can make her dummy thick.
I mean, we already know that.
Woo!
Probably be what, like a slasher powerhouse.
Slasher
Probably.
thick thighs. That'd be a new class.
Hey,
Let them know for the one time.
Thick thighs save lives.
I thought that's her category.
Yep.
Hey,
Dude, that category would be stacked.
that category would be dangerous, bro. That category would be dangerous, bro.
Yikes.
Category for yonkies, bro. That one,
The Yonky category. Let's go.
bro. Every
The Zampers.
hey, Zampers and yonkies, bro. It's time, dude. Hey, who's right? Hey, where's the Bandai spike? I'm gonna write this shit down, bro. It's gold. Matthew J asks, I have a question more so for the JP players. There you go, Knight. Have you guys noticed a visible increase in the amount of obtainable gems even post 6 Annie compared to say a month ago? I think it goes to global as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all right. Cool. No,
Wait,
but
the-
yes, definitely.
the event leading up to the 6th Danny for JP, how many free gems did they get? It was ridiculous, right?
Yeah. You're talking about like the login thing? It was like 50 gems. Yeah, it was 50 gems for that, and then there's like all the stuff between the countdowns. That was like extra. I don't know how much, but it was like at least like 30 per month.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But I think even just the general like base of gems you can earn on a monthly basis is just higher because of GARP challenges resetting. That's literally like it. So like there has been an increase and it's positive. Like, you know, the more gems people are able to earn means they're going to be more inclined to be spending those gems and heck, even spending money to buy more gems to pull more. So it's always positive in that sense. And
also a new story.
True, new story. I didn't want to talk about story in terms of hard mode. What do you guys opinions on adding a hard mode to story? So once you complete the story island, it unlocks a hard mode. Because story itself, like the latter stages of story, are actually like a little bit more challenging than usual. What do you guys think about adding in a hard mode of story that obviously would basically just like reintroduce all those story gems again, but it would be a little bit more challenging to clear? Maybe take a little bit more time.
Like color level or what?
I would say potentially like between like 40 stam raid to color level.
I like that.
I mean, like adding a hard mode Todd to story.
Story mode's already pretty hard.
Like adding another like a layer on top. So once you clear story, you can go do hard mode as well, which means that
isn't that already a thing?
I don't think
isn't there like a special island that gets unlocked after you beat a story mode?
Yeah, there is, but it's not hard.
I feel like adding a hard mode, meaning you can get all those clear gems again. Pretty good.
I'll say like kind of reduce like all the HP of all story to like 100k or something.
That's lame.
Yeah. So if they added something like hard, I think that would be kind of cool. It's like Coliseum level. I think that would be nice.
You actually have to like build properly for it and stuff. Running with double Kaido, call it a day. Final question from Bone Kichi. Why do you think that OPTC is less popular than other gacha anime games? When One Piece as a manga/anime has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, active fan bases.
Well, the JP version of the game is very popular.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, the JP version is,
but
it does fantastically well. The
everywhere else,
version sucks balls.
I think because mostly, unlike most other games, I would say it requires you to think a lot more.
Hey,
No, it's not even like a diss.
You're dumb. You're dumb. Now, real though, like it isn't like all truistically like it can be straightforward. Like playing the game, you can just look at the captain and be like, I'm just gonna build this team. Cool, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, I think there's a lot of nuance to Treasure Cruise that like a general like starting player or whatever doesn't really like understand until like latter stages where like you're building teams that incorporate specials that have double activation and you're putting in supports that benefit you that can do like like and clear like really hard bits of content. I think the skill floor is pretty high, and then the skill ceiling is like not like the gap between the skill floor and the skill ceiling isn't too large, but the skill floor just to enter is a lot harder to do than to get to the skill ceiling. That's my 2 cents on that one.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree. The fact that the game is a lot more difficult compared to a lot of other gachas I've played for sure.
Yeah, it's not easy to get into, but once you understand it, you kind of just like you can just the only thing that's stopping you is just speed and efficiency. Pretty much, that's about it.
Correct. Yeah.
And that just gets built over time, just understanding how to like content, understanding frames and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that wraps us up for another episode of GGP. Thank you all once again for listening to episode 22 of the Good Great Perfect podcast. You can find all of our social medias via the Linktree link down below in the description. Should be the first link down there. On that link, there will be all the available social medias there, being Spotify. Yeah, we're on Spotify. I ruined my whole spiel because I said Spotify first. Run it back. You can click on the Linktree link down below there, and you can find all of our social medias there at GGP Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us there. Dill runs the Instagram where he does a bunch of behind the scenes. Twitter for your updates in terms of questions and such. Same as Instagram as well. You can DM us there, and your questions will be answered, hopefully. You can also find us on all available platforms that Anchor has sent us to, the main ones being Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We are on those platforms. Make sure if you guys do enjoy it on those platforms and you listen there, leave us a review. I do check those from time to time, and we really do benefit from guys leaving reviews there. It kind of pushes us up in, I guess, category rankings in terms of the podcast. So we get more like people viewing us, and that just benefits us overall in general. And I get to see where people actually listen from, which is always an exciting metric to talk about amongst the gang. You can find us on YouTube, obviously. Good, Great, Perfect. We are there. We upload all the time. I guess for the most part, I don't know if I've made it very clear all too much, but a lot of the GGP extra videos are going to be YouTube exclusive, generally because it will be a video that isn't just us talking. Maybe times where it's going to be like maybe a discussion or it's going to be an interview of sorts that might get uploaded to Spotify, Apple, and Google and Anchor itself. But for the most part, GGP extra videos will be YouTube exclusive. Have I missed anything? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Without further ado, though, I've been Captain Parby. Cobb, Dill, Joba, Knight, Todd. Thank you for listening for another episode of Good Great Perfect. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Peace out.
See ya.
Goodbye.